Hello and welcome to Elevate Me number 4. In this first clip, we're going to look at a Lucio player. So here, what we're going to see is a boop after a hook. So let's watch this. There's the hook, and there's the boop. Now, booping after a hook is pretty much only okay if you're certain it's going to secure the kill. Otherwise, you're going to save that player. Now, however, in the case of Diva Mech, you almost never want to boop her after hook because even if you do secure the kill, Baby Diva is going to have more space to fly back and, into safety to her team and away from you and your Roadhog. So pretty much you never want to boop a mech after a hook. Okay, let's look at this next clip. Okay, so right here, we had an opportunity for a wall ride, but this player, it felt like he failed to recognize that. So let's watch this. Okay, right there, you can see he's going for that wall ride onto this left side to boop this Diva or this Moira or both into the well. Now you can see this Diva did an excellent job of body blocking him. She hugged this wall super tight as soon as she saw him and blocked him. So that was a really nice play. However, earlier, this Lucio had an opportunity to actually just go up this wall, go over, and go for that boop. This play is much more likely to work, and it can be done very quickly if you have a mastery of wall ride. So definitely look out for those kind of strategic tactical plays as Lucio, especially when you're trying to coordinate it with like a really good boop. Okay, last thing I want to talk about is crossfade usage. So on the rollouts, right about here, we're going to see a bit of a, I don't like to use the word random, but I'm going to use it. Just a bit of random usage for crossfade. And, the reason I don't like to use the word random is just because I feel like I'm doing a disservice to the players and kind of, what they're trying to do in the moment. Obviously, I hope that every player puts in at least some thought into what they're trying to do with their plays. And, Lucio gets a lot of hate, but I think really good crossfade usage, and if you don't know, crossfade is just switching between heal and speed boost. Anyways, really good crossfade usage kind of separates good Lucios from great Lucios. So let's watch this. Okay, speed boost onto point, that's great. Swap to heal. Now notice how the Orisa just dropped her shield. This shield is going to drop super fast. So watch this. Okay, right there, it's starting to crack. Actually, I think it just disappeared. Let's watch that again. Yeah, so it was starting to crack and then immediately melted. Now, this Lucio, right here, swapped to the speed boost. Right as it was cracking, and when I first saw that, I thought, oh, that's awesome. This player knows what he's doing, because what you want to do here is speed boost back away to the choke, right? You want to back off because that shield got melted instantly, and there's probably a good 3 or 4 seconds until Orisa gets her shield back, which is an eternity in a team fight. So I was happy, but then he switches back to heal, and then kind of goes left, and it's like I don't have a lot to say here because it's not this play overall went from oh cool, it's going well, and then to oh crap, it's not going well at all. At high levels of play, this Lucio would have been melted instantly. He would have got killed by this Genji. Diva would have dove him. It would have gone really bad, really poorly. So he's actually lucky he survived this long. So that's an example of crossfade usage that's not very great. Let's just put it that way. Let's look, however, at a super great example, which is I believe at 525 right here. Okay, this was, I don't like to use the word perfect either, but this was actually a really good use of crossfade. So let's watch this Lucio protect his team from a flank from McCree. Okay, right there, he hears the footsteps, immediately switches to speed boost to get into position, goes for some left clicks, boops, and switches to heal for the fight. Perfect. Once he sees that he's far away, he switches back to speed boost. I believe he wall rides right there for just a split second, and then switches back to heal for his teammates. And wow, that was like a perfect combo of crossfade. So if we kind of compare and contrast those, you can see the difference is night and day between kind of what seems to be random switching, whereas this example was it was all just executed perfectly, and every swap had a reason for it. At least that's what it looked like. Maybe this player didn't really know that he was doing this very well, but this is really good use of crossfade. Let's watch it again. Speed boost, heal, away, speed boost, heal. Perfect. I can't stress how perfect that was. Speed boost to get in, heal for the fight, speed boost to get out, heal for his team. Beautiful. Okay. Let's go to the next person, which is Winston. So I'm going to let this run. And actually, I'm going to mute it. So, okay. This Winston player, asked, what went wrong here? I felt like, I wasn't being impactful. How do I improve? Now, I'm going to suggest that this player actually watch 2 of my videos, and I'll link them in the description. One which talks about engaging with Winston in line of sight, and the other which is about space. So I'm going to link those, so feel free to look below for those. Okay, so this player just has a really... Well, okay, I'm going to say 2 things. The first is that we can see that because of his poor decision-making, he puts himself in positions where he really just shouldn't be, and then I think that's why he feels like he's not impactful and he doesn't really know what to do. And right here, we're feeding so much Reinhardt charge, which we'll see later. We're going to see a fatty Earth Shatter, in large part due to all that charge this Winston just gave him. So you can see here, he's kind of putting himself in a position where he's not only not being impactful, but he's kind of actually helping the enemy team. The other thing I want to mention, though, is that what he's doing is really good for like a Tracer. Like if a Tracer were in these positions and pulling off these moves and kind of absorbing these resources, a Tracer's going to do that much better because she's going to survive better. She has more cooldowns to work with in terms of like mobility. She's not going to feed enemy charge like she did for the D.Va and Reinhardt nearly as much. And she's going to accomplish the same thing but with much less. And then her tanks on the front line can then create space the way they normally would. So we kind of see a bit of a role reversal where this Winston, I like what he's doing if he's Tracer, but because he's Winston, he needs to be doing his job, which is creating space. So we're going to see here just a really unfortunate sequence of events, and I'll play this next part. Similar things happen. This Winston just kind of gets impatient, and then he just kind of, obviously you can see here he's taking a lot of damage. You typically don't want to peek like that until you're ready to dive, or at least move into position. So let's move forward a bit, because I want to show the viewers. Yeah, so like plays like this, oh man, it's just, I don't want to harp on this player, but this is the kind of stuff that is okay for a Tracer, but not for a Winston. Yeah. Yikes. Okay, so that's enough hounding. How can we improve it? So let's go right about, nope. Oh wow, I'm way off. Right there, this will do. Okay, actually maybe slightly back. All right, so I'm gonna kind of recap what I talk about in my What is Space video. So the whole premise behind that video is that when you're trying to create space as a tank, you want to do it piece by piece. You don't want to just ever rush in and just YOLO, right? That's exactly what you do not want to do. I'm gonna switch this color. Instead, what you want to do is you want to take space piece by piece. So you start here, then maybe you move here, and then maybe you move up here, and then maybe you get up here, or maybe you start to go to the right. You want to do it piece by piece slowly, allowing your teammates time to then set up with the space you're creating behind you. Every situation is going to be different. Sometimes your opponents are going to be stacked really hard here, in which case, yeah, maybe you go in this room, or maybe you go to that left side. Again, piece by piece. Don't just run into your opponents or past them. That is never going to work unless you're just like smurfing and like, whatever. And that's obviously a different case entirely. So as a tank, create your space very slowly. And once you're in a position where you're kind of set up close to your opponents and your teammates are ready, so if you're in voice, please ask them if they're ready, then you go for that dive. Ideally, you want your dives to be short. Like if they're up here, and then maybe you guys are like, well, actually, no, hold on. Let me give a better example. Let's say they're over here, and you want to do a dive. Would you do it from where you are right now? Absolutely not. That is a super long distance dive. In fact, you probably don't even make that jump. Instead, if they are up here, you want to do a dive from like here, so you wrap around this way, and then you go there. If your team wants to go this way, then you go up to that top right corner, and then you dive from there. So every situation is different. It's going to depend on what they're running, but in general, you want to get as close to your opponents as possible. So if they're here, you want to get into like this room, or maybe this room, or maybe like right here, and then go for a short range dive. So hopefully that makes sense. There was a lot of mistakes this Winston pulled off, but I don't want to harp on those details because I think that strategically, if you just make better decisions, those mistakes are going to just kind of naturally go away. And correcting this problem is much more important than any of those other small things. Okay, last person is Zarya. 2 things I want to mention. The first is a missed opportunity for saving your Widow. So watch this. right there, you can see she's calling for healing at the top of the screen, and she's going to die in a moment. And there it is. So a missed opportunity to save that Widow. You might have been trying to save her. I'm not sure right there when you bubbled somebody else, but still that reaction could have been a bit better. Okay, the next problem is, you know, we're going to fight for a bit. I'm going to skip some of this. And whatever, we're fighting. Now, let me turn up the volume.
I was going to save him. Go down.
Okay, right there. This play. Actually, let me just confirm. Was that this player? I think that was this player. Yeah, that was this player. Okay, that call was, for lack of a better word, was atrocious. Right now, your opponents are beneath you, right? They're on cart. They're below you. Now, if we look at your team, you have an Ana still alive with you. So that's backline that needs to be protected. So by jumping down there, basically you put Ana in a position where she's either going to stay up here and just get jumped on from below and get melted, or she's going to drop down with you guys and get melted. So so there was 3 better calls. Let me back up a bit, get a better angle. That'll do. So what you could have said is rotate around through server room. That would have been an excellent call. A better call as well would have been to, or not better than that call, but better than falling down, would have been to go up on this high ground and get even better high ground. The other option was to actually just stay here. That actually would have been okay too. So instead, what happens is, I'm gonna mute the volume again. You drop down. Orisa doesn't have time to put a good shield. Ana's out of, like, you're starting to LOS your Ana, right? She's gonna have to either, again, drop down or get into a really bad position to heal you, or just be out of position and save herself, but then not heal you. You guys get melted like instantly, and then there goes Ana, and then it's funny because your Orisa is like, hey Ana, like where were you, or whatever. Hilarious because that wasn't her fault at all. And then yeah, this fight goes poorly now because you just lost 2 players. And it actually, if we look at the timing of the kills, your Widow died first, as you can see right here in the kill feed. And then actually she swapped to Tracer. So right here, where was she? Oh, you can actually, is that, let me see. Where's your Tracer? There she is. So you guys actually had a bit of a spawn advantage because she died first, and also the cart was about halfway through. So the attackers don't have their spawn advantage anymore once the cart's this far. So you guys were in a really good position to win this fight. Again, if you guys had set up in server over here, or on the high ground up here. So really unfortunate that you made that call because there was a plethora of other calls to be made. So that was a bit unfortunate. So hopefully you can work on that. And again, a lot of it had to do with the fact that Ana was still alive. If it was like, if you were running like Winston, Zarya, Tracer, Genji or something like that, and all 4 of you, it was basically all frontliners ready to jump down, then sure, that's fine. Actually, there is another option as well. Actually, that could work. If you guys were going to drop down, then you needed to stay right here. That way Ana had line of sight of you and could heal you. That would have also worked. But again, you're running like an Orisa, who, like, if that was like a Winston, then that dive's better. Or sorry, that play is better. But because it was an Orisa who needs a little bit of time to set up, that play is still not very good. So even then, I'm still not happy with that play. All right, cool. I hope this video was helpful. If you liked it, please like the video and please subscribe. Thank you.